Hello, friends. As my canoe glides lazily down the Tigris, I glance up at the twinkling stars scattered across the Mesopotamian sky. You know, drifting along like this makes you wonder how the ancient Mesopotamians viewed the stars. Well, guess what? They weren't just stargazers. They were scientific pioneers, shaping the way we measure time, map the sky, and do math. Now, Mesopotamian science didn't look like today's sleek laboratories with white coats and beakers. Instead, it was done by scribes and priests, often on clay tablets, using a wedge-shaped script called cuneiform. These early scholars were less like modern scientists and more like obsessive weather reporters, tracking celestial movements with stunning accuracy. Let's start with astronomy. The Mesopotamians weren't just casually stargazing while sipping date wine. They were serious about it. Using nothing more than sharp eyes and meticulous record-keeping, they tracked the movements of the moon, sun, and planets. And no, they didn't need a telescope. They had patience and lots of clay tablets. They created detailed star charts and even identified constellations. Sound familiar? That's because their star patterns influenced Greek and later Western astronomy. Ever heard of Leo, Taurus, or Scorpio? Yep, those were first spotted by Mesopotamian astronomers. But wait, it gets even cooler. They also calculated the lunar calendar. They knew the moon took roughly 29.5 days to complete its cycle, so they divided the year into 12 lunar months. The problem? 29.5 doesn't fit neatly into 365 days. Annoying, right? To fix this, they occasionally added an extra month, sort of like an ancient leap year. Now, let's talk about math, because the Mesopotamians weren't just counting sheep. They developed a base 60 number system. That's right, while most of the world eventually settled on base 10, the Mesopotamians were busy making things far more interesting. Why base 60, you ask? Well, 60 is a super convenient number. It's divisible by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, and 30, making it perfect for fractions and calculations. This is why we still measure time in 60s. 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour. So next time you're staring at the clock during a boring meeting, you can thank or curse the Mesopotamians. But wait, there's more. These math wizards were also expert surveyors. They used geometry to measure land and calculate boundaries, essential skills when you're running a farming economy. They could calculate areas of fields and even solved early forms of quadratic equations. That's right, while you're still traumatized by high school algebra, the Mesopotamians were solving for X 4,000 years ago. And speaking of practical science, Mesopotamians were obsessed with predicting the future. Using astrology, they believed that celestial events could foretell earthly ones. A solar eclipse? Obviously a sign of royal doom. A comet? Bad news for the king. Let's be honest, if we saw a fiery ball hurtling through the sky, we'd probably be a little freaked out too. As I float along the Tigris, I imagine scholars in Babylon squinting at the sky, scribbling cuneiform notes on clay tablets, and debating whether Mars moving backward meant a flood or just a bad harvest. But Mesopotamian genius didn't stop with science. It seeped into the soil itself. Their understanding of the stars and seasons helped them know when to plant, when to harvest, and how to turn wild fields into golden bread baskets. In our next episode, we'll roll up our sleeves and explore the real magic of Mesopotamia, their mastery of agriculture that fed cities, powered empires, and sowed the seeds of civilization itself. Get ready. It's time to dig into the roots of history.